I told a friend of mine that I was going
Probably might be the music.
It has got the biggest equatorial forest.
DRC is a country with a lot of civil wars because of the minerals in the country.
Well, you will get a much clearer picture of the Democratic Republic of Congo in this two-part series, Opportunities in DRC, and my first stop is Kinshasa. The city of robots for traffic signaling. The city that is growing in highways, the city where cleanliness is the order of the day. On the show, meet Kenya's ambassador, Dr. George Masafu.
We are culturally very well linked, and there are immense opportunities.
The agency that is in charge of investment promotion is inviting Kenyans to invest in DRC.
Our law is much better.
Indeed, Equity Bank is among those that are already on the ground, with Kenya Airways flying high both in Lubumbashi and Kinshasa. Congolese musician Kofi Olomide is among KQ's frequent flyers. I met him aboard. That and more on the show, but first, here is a look at our fact sheet about DRC. The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, is the second largest country in Africa after Algeria, the largest in sub-Saharan Africa, and the 11th largest in the world. DRC's population is about 75 million. Kinshasa city alone has a population of over 10 million. Despite its vast resources, the country is still one of the poorest in Africa. Nonetheless, the country has the potential of becoming one of the continent's richest countries, given an existence of more than 1,000 minerals and metals, as well as its 80 million hectares of arable land. You are in time for the Chamwada report. We are discussing opportunities in DRC, and here is a look at the bilateral relationship between Kenya and DRC through the eyes of Kenya's ambassador, Dr. George Masafu. Dr. George Masafu is the diplomat defending, protecting and projecting Kenya's image not only in the DRC but also in Gabon, the Republic of Congo and Central African Republic.
Kenya and DRC have had very cordial relations since independence. As you recall, DRC became independent on 30th of June 1960, and we became independent in 1963. So actually, DRC is our elder in terms of political independence. And since independence, the presidents of the two countries have always worked very closely. And don't forget that we are linked by the road from Mombasa, Nairobi, Eldoret, Bungoma, Malaba, Kampala, Kigali, then into Goma.
At this point, you may be asking, what is in DRC for Kenya and what is in Kenya for DRC? Take a look.
So when you have large populations like in Kinshasa, where even now it's estimated to be about 13 million people, that means when you bring your goods here, you must get somebody to buy. For example, you have bakeries in Kinshasa, and in Kinshasa alone, they sell 4 million loaves per day. That tells you the scale of consumption, that consumer goods can be sold to a very large market here. Yeah, so the large population for us means a market.
In business, numbers talk, so to speak, and many investors are now following the numbers in DRC.
Here, the financial services have been very limited, only to companies or to big corporates and embassies. This presents a major investment opportunity for Kenyan financial services companies. The one that has given the lead is Equity Bank. Equity Bank has bought a major bank in DRC called ProCredit Bank. It's expanding that bank to literally all the major towns in DRC where there has been no banking services. They're also going on to open the agency services, the one they have in Kenya, the small banks in kiosks, in villages, and so forth. So it's a big revolution Kenyan financial services are introducing in DRC.
Indeed, the National Agency for Investment Promotion in DRC lists the financial sector as one of the sectors with many opportunities.
One of the restrictions that we have here is the financing of business by banking. So we need more investment banking. We need like agriculture banking to give peasant and agriculture more access to financing.
The other one, the most important one, is again insurance services. Up to this year, this March, there's been only one insurance company in the DRC. But from this month, they are now allowing registration of private insurance companies.
I always link bank and insurance because I think that if an investor is sure that his money will be safe in a bank here, then his business will be safe as well because he can, in case of
now. They have about 90 million acres of arable land. So in terms of supplying food to Africa and the rest of the world, we are looking at our companies like Kenya Seed. We're looking at other companies that can come and assist in developing agriculture in this country. There's hardly any farming going on in this country, but we are trying to work out the appropriate agreements, what we call legal and regulatory frameworks between the countries on how we are going to operate.
We still have the customary land as well, where people, you need to go and see a chief and then they'll give you a land. They'll give you first the paper that they agree to give you a part of a slice of their land because they consider that it's their land, even though the land by law belongs to the state.
But the question some investors may be asking is, how safe is it to invest in DRC?
This country is pacifying now, but of course you have pockets of rebels, like you have in Uganda, like you have everywhere. You have the problem with the Shabab as well. Are we going to say that people shouldn't go and invest in Kenya? No.
Following the country's past political instability, strong legal instruments necessary to protect investments were lacking. But the National Agency for Investment Promotion is assuring investors that there is no reason to worry as DRC is fast-tracking legal reforms. And what does it take to register for business?
One of the biggest reforms that we have done in this country is creating a one-stop shop when it's come to the creation, to start a company. It used to take 65 days to do that. Now you can do it in 3 days. Of course, we are continuing the reform, and then we hope that one day we'll do it in 1 hour or 2 hours. On top of that, we went into, we try to reduce as much as possible the cost of opening a company. It was very expensive at the beginning. Now, just to open a simple company, it's $120 US. It used to be much more.
Still on investment opportunities, Ambassador Masafu goes further to highlight transportation as another area with many opportunities.
DRC, in terms of landmass, is nearly 5 times the size of Kenya. So those dimensions, we don't experience them in Kenya. For example, I'm in Kinshasa, which is the capital. The next commercial town, the largest, is Lubumbashi. It is about 2,000 kilometers from here. Connection between Kinshasa and Goma is by the river Congo. It takes you 30 days from Kinshasa to travel to Goma by a small boat. And that just tells you the difficulties in terms of transport infrastructure. The major opportunity presented to Kenya is one of Kenya Airways.
A flight between Kinshasa and Lubumbashi takes almost the same time as a flight between Lubumbashi and Nairobi. Kenya Airways does not operate domestic flights, so for now, for instance, many passengers traveling between Lubumbashi and Kinshasa have to connect through Nairobi. James Nganga is the Kenya Airways country manager in charge of the DRC market.
The number of operations by any international airline in DRC, we operate the highest number. That is 17 flights in a week.
Kenya Airways offers both passenger and cargo services.
There's a whole market segment for Nigerians who are dealing with motor vehicle spare parts. There's a whole market of Gambians and Senegalese who are also dealing with textiles, for example, and the Congolese themselves. Indians import foodstuffs, they import medicines, they import spices. We are glad to be playing a part and being featured here in DRC.
Kenya Airways is the partner, so every month I take Kenya Airways to go to check some goods, selection the fabric, somewhere, Cotonou, Benin, China, all the countries. I think so I'm happy to traveling by Kenya Airways is Africans to grow the business together.
Some of the clients here who are frequent flyers with Kenya Airways have their kids schooling in Nairobi and Mombasa in the international schools, and this presents a great opportunity. There is, because they are appreciating the education system that is in Kenya.
Kenyans can now come and do business in DRC very easily because of the Kenya Airways, and there will be other airlines from Kenya also operating, because the agreement we have signed covers any airline operating from Kenya, or a Kenyan airline for that matter.
We take a short break. When we return, why Equity Group Holdings is spreading its wings in DRC, plus why Congolese singer Koffi Olomide is in love with his Kenyan fans. Don't go away.